Hi, and welcome to this conversation with Peace at Home Parenting founder and president Ruth Freeman. I'm Aaron Weintraub, and we will be speaking today about the pediatric mental health crisis that many parents are experiencing that we've been hearing a lot about. Ruth, would you like to introduce yourself? And my first question for you is, why is this topic top of mind for you? I know that you've been doing a lot of work to create content and connect to support parents around this. Why this now?
Well, a, a lot of the way that we reach parents at Peace at Home is through corporate wellness programs, through nonprofit organizations. And we're hearing from parent resource groups and caregiver resource groups that, you know, the data is telling us this, and parents are telling us this. They're getting phone calls from school that their child doesn't want to stay in school. They're getting phone calls from the therapist they've been pursuing because it's so hard to find therapists right now. HR professionals are telling us, can you help our parents find therapists? Can you help our parents find solutions for their kids who seem worried and anxious? And, the Academy of Pediatrics and 150 other organizations have called this a crisis because emergency rooms are filled with kids waiting for psychiatric services, and emergency rooms are not set up to handle that. So certainly parents are disrupted at work and kids aren't getting what they need.
And what are you hearing from the HR and benefits professionals that you speak to about how this is affecting parents in the workplace?
Well, parents are just worried and distracted. And we have data that, over half of parents are getting phone calls once a month at work that they have to navigate related to their child's emotional well-being. And HR professionals are looking for resources for parents, and some of them want to start parent resource groups. They know that when parents come together, they feel less isolated, they feel less worried. And we often will work with them to create small groups to let's talk about anxious kids. How can we help anxious kids? Professionals have very clear day-to-day tools to offer parents that make a big difference. For example, sometimes parents, out of real love, let their kids wash their hands 7 times before they leave the house, or they tell them they don't have to go to that birthday party if they feel worried about being with too many kids, or they walk on another street so they don't have to walk past the dog they feel afraid of. But in fact, as you know, Aaron, since you work with kids who have special social emotional needs, reinforcing those symptoms actually makes them worse. And it feels like we're giving our kids relief, but in fact, we are reinforcing those symptoms, right? I mean, you have that experience with parents.
Right, for sure. Right. Well, so on a really practical level, if a parent who's listening to this has some concerns about their child, and knowing that all of us have been affected by the pandemic and current events and just accumulation of factors, but they're wondering whether their child may need some extra support. What are some yellow flags, warning signs, and red flags, high alert signs that they should be aware of to help them make that decision?
Well, yellow flags are those that tell us this child is struggling. And so, for example, if you have a 5-year-old who typically has a meltdown, once a month, but all of a sudden they're having meltdowns 4 times a week, you want to take a second look and you want to wonder about it. They're not doing this willfully. I mean, we often remind parents, kids aren't acting out, they're reaching out. They're not giving you a hard time, they're having a hard time. So mostly we just want to look at behavior and try to understand it, and just think together with the child's teachers, with the child's caregivers, other parents, what might be contributing to these increased emotional outbursts? What can we understand? Oh, the teacher had a baby and there's another teacher in the classroom and this child doesn't make changes very easily. Or the child is having difficulty with peers at school right now. There's some kind of conflict going on. Or grandma is sick and that child's worried about it, but they just show it through behavior. So often we're helping parents understand that behavior is something for us to understand, not just something to discipline or fix or, address. Other kinds of yellow flags are any changes in sleep patterns, changes in eating patterns, changes in school performance, changes in friends. If all of a sudden your teenager is hanging out with a completely different set of friends with a completely different set of values, you want to think about it and be curious and talk about it. When they say raising kids, we need a village to raise kids, it really means you do really have to reach out to a team of people to think, talk with the teacher, talk with the pediatrician, and think together about what's happening and listen to your kid. Be curious all the time.
That's really helpful. And how about those were some great yellow flags, which indicate time to start gathering support. How about red flags, which means get help now? What would you look for there?
Well, red flags are anytime a child is drawing pictures about harming themselves or harming others, if they're talking about harming themselves, if they're scratching themselves or cutting themselves, certainly, or even just thinking and talking about self-harm, or talking about death a lot, although that certainly is in the environment around them. So we have to think about that. And other red flags are if you can't understand a child, or if a child can't understand you, their thinking has been affected, you want to quickly call 211. And in some states, they will literally send out a mental health professional. This is one of the best things you can do. It's much better than walking into a hospital emergency room, but that isn't the case in all states. But 211 will help you get to resources. But if your child is out of control and you don't feel safe, then you need to call 911 and get safe help immediately.
Thank you. Now, for those parents and for other parents who are concerned and want to support their child, what are some things that they may already be doing at home and on their own that are protective factors or helping their child?
This is one of the ways that Peace at Home parenting makes a big difference, because parents are feeling so overwhelmed and so confused about what kids need right now. And one of the things I love to do best, in which all our teachers talk about, is reminding parents what they're already doing and how important those things are. So, for example, just having meals together. It could be pizza and a salad. It isn't, we don't have to always do the perfect nutrition trip, but just the whole family sitting down, looking in each other's eyes, which actually calms the brain and calms your brain and calms their brain, just looking in someone's eyes, and reduces stress amazingly. And talking with kids and listening and making it an enjoyable time, not trading 3 broccolis for chocolate pudding, just talking about our days and our plans and our dreams and listening. Those meal times are associated with better school performance. They're associated with fewer behavior problems. Meal times are like miracle makers. I'm not sure exactly why, but they're amazing. 3 to 5 times a week. Just sit down and enjoy them. Making sure that everybody in the house has downtime every day. We all need downtime just to integrate our lives. Read People magazines, space out, look out the window, whatever you're doing. Kids need it and you need it. The lack of downtime, days that are completely committed day after day, is associated with increased anxiety. And parents that know how to listen to feelings, just acknowledging an emotion. Wow, you're really mad at your teacher. Your kid comes home, they throw their book bag down the table. I hate my math teacher. The parent knows they didn't study for the quiz today, but instead of launching into advice, the parent says, wow, you're looking really frustrated with your math teacher. That is a part of attachment. When kids feel seen and soothed by that relationship, we say attachment is seen, safe, soothed, and secure. When that parent can just respond with, I see you, your feelings are okay with me, that's really soothing. You're doing so much just with that reflection. And there's so many things parents already do. And when they recognize how powerful they are, they use them more often and they feel more calm and confident in their parenting.
So it sounds like that parent-child relationship is a powerful mental health intervention.
Absolutely.
And so if somebody is just hearing your message on here for the first time, Ruth, and isn't familiar with your work and Peace at Home, how would they get this support through their workplace or bring it to, what would you say about, if you could say something about Peace at Home in a nutshell?
I think if you are a working parent and you're feeling some disruption at home, you're having trouble focusing, I've heard from so many mothers, this happened this week a few times. Mothers have told me, I love my job, it's my happy place, but I feel like I may have to leave because I don't know what to do about my kid who's refusing to go to school every morning. I feel like I have to be home, and that isn't actually the case. That's not what's going to solve the school refusal problem. So, if you're feeling like there are these difficulties and you don't know what to do, I strongly recommend that you talk to your HR department, tell them about Peace at Home parenting and solutions, and tell them to email us. They can email us at solutions@peaceathomeparenting.com. Professionals can reach us at clients@peaceathomeparenting.com. And we will quickly get back to folks and help them think about how we can partner together to help parents get back to joy in their families and productivity at home.
Well, thank you, Ruth. And thank you for taking the time to talk today about what is a very important issue and at the top of a lot of people's minds, a lot of companies' minds. So thank you for being here and look forward to continuing the conversation.
Yes, thanks a lot, Erin.